Hey, what's up everyone? Mendel here. I hope you're all doing awesome and wonderful. So in this video, we're going to check out this cool little thing. This is the Touche or Touch-E, but I think it's Touche from Expressive-E. This is a multi-axis MIDI controller controlled by touch. Very interesting concept. Does it do the job? Let's dive into it. Here we go. Roll the intro. Alright, so I've loaded up a session of a new song I'm working on over here, as you can see over here. And this GUI here, or this plugin basically, is called Lié. Now Lié, or Li, but I guess Lié, oui, très bien, oulala, is the software that comes together with this, I want to say pedal, but with this MIDI controller. You can do a bunch of different things here. Over here I have loaded up this preset called Moogie, but you can also load up, for example, your favorite plugin in here. Let's say a cool string library, then controlled from there. But you can also have the standalone mode, and basically it's then like an independent MIDI controller. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's first take a listen. So I've got this patch over here called Moogie I think, which sounds like this. But now watch what happens when I actually touch it. That's what she said. How cool is that? So you can basically move it back, forward, and to the left and to the right. And to be honest, it's very, very sensitive. Like for an example, when I just lay my finger on this, you can already see that the colors change a bit, that it detects my touch. It's very, very sensitive. So that's really cool to express your, I don't know, ideas for an example. So I got this cool pad called Yosemite, which sounds like this. And let's take a listen. So this is a new song I'm working on. It's called Stygian Light. That's a demo title, but as with my most instrumental tracks, the demo title will be the final title. And this cool part with chords, and there's this open part, and I think I'll just want to add some lines over there. So with all honesty, I love working in that way. Just the basically moving together with the music. Very, very cool. Let's try some different stuff while we're at it. Again, on a different channel, again, it's Lié. Now I have this different patch called Cool, Carbon Cool. And let's see what we have on this patch, like backward, forward, left, and right. Let's try it on a different part. We have this part here. Now let's try this for an example on a string library. So here I've loaded up an empty session. Over here I have an empty Lié instance. And over here you see select plugins. So basically Lié scans all the plugins you have that are compatible. For some reason Contact isn't there, but I do know it's possible, but maybe there's something wrong with my system. What are the odds? But for example, when I check my, let's do the BBC Symphony Orchestra, which is probably my favorite string library, or basically symphony library at the moment. But I've loaded it up, and as you can see over here, here we have the BBC within Lié. So for example, when you just play something, sounds wonderful. And the cool thing about this is you see speed mapping over here. So we have 1 to 8 over here. So for an example, if I do speed mapping and I do the expression over here, it instantly logs to expression. Let's put these windows side by side over here. Or when I press 2 and then just move parameter 2, we have dynamics. So now what I can do, I can say with expression, I want to do the back side of the controller and dynamics as well. And just with those few clicks, we have but what we can do as well, and let's just use the volume just all the way up, dynamics. But actually we can also say, let's go to effects, we have the vibrato. So I press 3, then I move to vibrato, and then I do it to the right, like moving it to the right side. So now when we press down, we have the expression of the violins. And when we move to the right, they add vibrato. Let's try it out. I mean, how cool is that? Of course, you can do this with a regular MIDI controller as well. But just this more 3D movement with the hand, as for now, to be honest, it feels a bit more natural than a MIDI controller upside down or moving it forward and backwards. It's a different approach, and this could be your thing or it could not be your thing. So far, as I've been trying it out for 2 weeks, I'm digging it. I'm liking it. Let's try this with the whole string section. So it's also possible to use this as a dedicated MIDI controller. So over here I've loaded up Contact 7 with Cinematic Studio strings, which sounds phenomenal in my opinion. And you see these two windows over here. So before filming I couldn't figure it out, but I do know it's possible that you can send the correct MIDI data from the Lié standalone application straight to any software like Contact or whatever. I couldn't figure it out for some reason. Again, it is possible, but for me a quick fix was to just translate it with this Cubase MIDI transformer. So basically the data it's receiving, CC18 and CC16 are translated to CC1, which is modulation, and CC2, which is vibrato. I've got it set up so when I press down I have the modulation, and when I press to the left, vibrato gets added. I guess the main thing is for me, talking in positive terms, is it feels a bit more natural to push down and move the hand a bit more instead of just up and down. I do have to say it takes a bit more, for better lack of terms, it's a bit more restraining to the wrist, I do have to say. Like with the faders, it's just a bit lighter, and now when I press down, I do have to like use some energy to move it to right, left, example, and forward. Of course, you can adjust the intensity as like within the Lié app. So having that said, for example, instead of doing this, it could be that this is the same range as this. But it's a bit more restraining to my arm, at least. I can imagine if you do film scoring for hours and hours, could be a bit too much restraining to the hands or to the arm when working on strings or brass library and stuff like that. But having that said, I think it's a very intuitive tool, very creative. If you'd ask me, very, very inspiring as well. All right, so all in all, end verdict. In my opinion, it's a very intuitive, creative tool. And being creative while making music is one of the most important thing, if not the most important thing. Like I said earlier, it's a tiny bit restraining to the arm if you work long hours with it. Then I guess, at least for working with string libraries, like if we would do like a wobble with the synth, just like this, that would be a different story, I guess. But for me, working with strings, long hours, film scoring stuff, this could be a bit restraining, at least to my arm, during the day. So in that way, I would, in that way, I'm dying, I guess. In that way, I would prefer just having the faders. Now, having that said, this thing comes with a bunch of synth, and like let me just load it up quickly here. Like when you look over here, you get all of these synths, and they have extra packs on their website, and all of these sounds, like they're not just simple sounds or just like quick fixes to give you something with the product. No, this is legit good sounding synths. For example, if I was working on a metal track and I have this preset here called Lead Bonus, like this could definitely work. I personally think it's a very intuitive and creative device. I'm using it all over my new EP, which I'm writing. I like to play with it, move it different ways, try out the different patches that are in Lié, and be inspired. That's what I like about writing music, trying out different things. Having that said, I do think it's a bit restraining, at least to my arm. I can imagine if you're into film scoring like I am, when I work with strings, then doing this all the way, and then this also depends how you set your parameters. Because, for example, you can put it that it uses all the way, the full range, or that just this movement would be from 0 to 127. But still, it's a bit restraining, at least to my arm. So that could be tiring working throughout the day. But all in all, my opinion, it's a wonderful unit that lets me be creative in a different, more three-dimensional way. So I dig it. I love it. I'll put the link in the description box down below so you can check it out. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit the belly thing, and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. You know what? See you next time. Cheers.